one thing that I've learned in my journey and in my relationship with God is that God is balanced in everything that he does, and that's the expectation that he has of us, to be balanced in the approach and the things that we do in this world, to be balanced in the way that we think, to be balanced in our perspectives, in the way that we see the world, to not be swayed too far to the left and too far to the right, but to always be balanced, have an understanding of different perspectives, and be able to hold multiple truths at once. Today I want to talk about how you as a woman can balance out your essence without it being too much of the other, because anything that's done excessively can go from good to bad. If you eat too much sugar, it's bad. If you eat too much of anything, it's toxic. It becomes toxic. So that's the type of mentality you should always have when it comes to how you want to present yourself or how you want to embrace yourself. Embrace yourself in your fullest capacity, but allow yourself to be balanced in the way that you do this. And the first place to start is working on your heart. If you're dealing with things like jealousy, if you're dealing with things like low self-esteem, if you're dealing with things like where you don't have a good perception of yourself, you don't have a good kind of view about who you are as a person, or your identity is rooted in the things that everyone else has attached to you, then that requires you to go inside. That requires you to dig deep. That requires you to work at the heart and to allow God to set you free from those limitations or those barriers that restrict you from actually being able to express yourself in your fullest capacity. Whether that's in like music, art, like in any shape, any way that is possible for you to express who you are as a person, in a way that's creative, because you are creative in your nature. And if anyone has ever told you that you're not, they're wrong, because you are created in the image and likeness of God, and God is creative, is an artist. And it doesn't mean that you have the same gift as the person to the left, but you have something that you can use to create and bring forth love and light into this world. So by working in your heart, by digging deep and working at your heart and looking at the things that are restricting you and limiting you from being able to express that creativity within you, that will allow you to break through and actually step forward and embody the things that you were called here to embody, the person who you have been, the person that God knows you to be, not the person that has been constructed and put together by the brokenness of this world. So with that being said, one thing that I've learned is that if I want to pull out my essence or my beauty without doing it too much, I need to figure out what parts of my body I want to show. Because I find that when you do it all at once, where you're showing your physique all at once, it just looks a little bit tacky. It looks a bit cheap. And you don't want to give off that vibe that you're tacky or you're cheap or anything like that. You want to be able to like embody your beauty, not in a cheap way, but in a way that allows you to be seen for the wonderful, for how you've been wonderfully created. So the one thing that I personally live by is that if I want to like embrace my sexiness or like allow that to come out, I personally pick and choose what part of my body I want to show. I don't do it all at once, again, because I said this just gives off a bit cheap. Like it just gives off cheap vibes. You're allowed to dress however you want to dress, but I'm just teaching you on how to embrace your beauty and your attractiveness in the way that actually allows you to be seen for who you are, rather than like distract people on the many things that are happening in your outfits, and that kind of take away from your essence. So if I want to embrace my sexiness, I usually choose like either to show the top part of my body, but in like if I'm showing the top part of my body, I know that the bottom part of my body is covered. That way it's like a balanced type of approach. Like you can see the physique, you can see that, wow, she's like put apart, but you're not seeing too much going on at once. And if I'm wearing something that's like short but still shows the upper part of my body, then I will put some like stockings underneath, like sheer stockings underneath, to give it a clean look, so it's not too much going on at once. If I am all of like covered all up here, then I will allow my legs to then be like shown a lot more than normal. And I don't dress according to like trends or anything like that. I dress according to my body. So one thing that is going to help you understand on how to pull out your essence and embody your full attractiveness and your beauty in its fullest capacity is being self-aware, being aware about your body, being aware of what stands out the most on your body. Do you have bigger breasts? Do you have like a big nyash? Do you have a big bum? So certain clothes, if you wear them, like it just gives it gives off tacky vibes. But if you find something that like is fitted, even if it's showing skin, but it's well fitted and that complements your physique and your shape, then you're good. I'll pull up some examples on what this can look like, so you've got an understanding of what this can look like. This ties in with being self-aware, like with who you are as a person and with what you have, what you've been gifted with, because we're not all gifted with the same things. We're not all gifted with big breasts. We're not all gifted with big nyashes or big bums. But understanding who you are and what stands out the most and what people are able to spot quicker than other stuff on your physical appearance is really important, because as much as I mentioned that your nakedness is pure and your nakedness is innocence, you live in a world that doesn't view you or the physique of a woman in the same light. So you have to be self-aware about yourself and about the different types of settings that you're stepping into, and then that allows you to then adjust accordingly, to not dim down who you are or dim down your light, but to adjust in a way that doesn't bring too much unnecessary negative attention towards you. And that is just when you do things like that, where you are putting into perspective like the type of setting that you're stepping into, the type of place, the type of people that you're around, their type of mentality that they have. When you do this and you adjust accordingly, you're actually just doing it out of respect. These people, a lot of the people that you will come by are people that still have very limited belief systems, especially if you travel around the place, especially in third world countries. They don't all have a mindset that allows women to fully embrace themselves. Many of these third world countries that we love to travel to don't have that view about women. And so you need to understand, if you're going to travel to certain different places where the way that women are viewed or the way that women are treated they're treated more like sexual objects or anything like this. Understanding your place, time, setting will always help you to understand what to put on and what will allow your essence, your beauty to be captured. So even whilst you're in these countries that expect women to be a lot more covered up than most, you are still able to bring out your beauty, your attractiveness in a way that is contained, like within the parameters that they provide. You don't have to, and that goes with church as well. If you're stepping into church, you understand that a lot of these people are going by or are living off certain scriptures to kind of justify the ideas that these men have held within the church for a very long time, where they don't actually address that men are very undisciplined within the church setting. They're very undisciplined. They don't learn how to work on their character flaws that objectify women. And so if you're stepping into these settings, you also have a balanced, you also see that even the women within the church are in support of such views, and they will be the one to approach you and tell you that you're dressed in a way that isn't acceptable for church. So these types of settings, you need to take into consideration of those people and their mentality and dress accordingly, not because you're trying to please them, but because you are protecting yourself from being from drawing negative light towards yourself in a setting that expects a type of attire. Same thing with work. Work has, if you work in corporate, there is an expectation on how you should dress accordingly, but don't dress in a way that dims down who you are or your beauty or your essence. Dress accordingly, but dress in a way that embodies who you are within the parameters that you're being given. I might provide a few little examples on what this can look like. But yeah, because although I say like your nakedness is innocence, your beauty is innocence, your attractiveness is innocence, the reason why I say this is to free you from the shame that has been instilled in you, where you believe that when you show certain things, or when you look like a certain way, or when you embrace yourself in a certain way, then you're being impure. That you should just detach yourself from that belief system. And allow yourself to be set free from the shame that has been instilled in you because of other people's like corrupted mindsets and ideas. Once you detach yourself from that belief system, you move in this world in a way that's lighter, that feels free, even if you have to work within the parameters that you're being given. Mentally, you know that your mind and your spirit has been set free from the ideas or the ideologies that has been constructed by society to kind of suppress you, suppress your creativity, suppress who you are. And then you know that there are certain places or certain settings where you can fully bring out all of your essence, like, you know, that sexiness. You can bring that out without people. You have to understand that some of these settings, people do expect or are okay with seeing other women in a more sexier like approach. For example, if you're going to dinner or something like that, to dinner at a special place, special restaurant, there's this mindset that's already set in people's minds that people are looking their best. They're coming and they're dressed in more revealing clothes, or clothes that reveal a bit more than you were in your workplace. So understanding your time and place, understanding that there is a time and place for everything, and that everything needs to be balanced in the way that you approach them, will help you understand how to embrace who you are, your essence, your feminine essence in its fullest capacity. I don't know if I've expressed that well enough, but I hope you still get the gist of what I'm trying to convey to you. And I hope this kind of sets you free from the shame and just anything negative that has been associated with your body and how God created you. God never made a mistake in how he created you. He knew exactly what he was doing. When your boobs may be a lot bigger than many other people, your bum is a lot larger than other people, like, he knew exactly why he did that. So it's about learning to just accept yourself as you are and embrace yourself fully, and also understand that we're all created differently and that you just need to be self-aware. Anyways, I will see you next time.